What's good, people? This is Chris Crazy House back again with some Chris Crazy commentary. You know, I never thought I would ever have to talk about the live action version of Cowboy Bebop ever again, but this story is kind of pertinent, especially when it comes to creators and content and all the other great stuff that I like to talk about on this channel. So I will have to bring up Netflix version of Cowboy Bebop again. I really don't want to talk about it because it was not that good at all. If you follow me on this channel, you know that I did a few videos about the Netflix version of Cowboy Bebop when it came out, and I tried to watch it. I think I watched the first 3 episodes if I can remember, and it just wasn't good at all. Okay, it was one of the while not as bad as some of the anime adaptations out there, it was still bad. Okay, it was not in the good realm. I know there are a lot of people out there that actually liked it and they were upset that it didn't get renewed for a second season, but I mean, it is what it is on that one. I can't really co-sign any or find any real value in that show. Okay, it was something that just wasn't visually or story-wise. It was like Cowboy Bebop in name only. Like, they borrowed the names of the characters and everything else was a little bit weird. I've seen fan fictions that were way better than that. And apparently I'm not the only one that didn't like that live action version. The actual creator and the director of the original animated version of Cowboy Bebop also does not like the live action show. So if you don't know who the creator is, his name is Shinichiro Watanabe. He was the original director and the creator of Cowboy Bebop, amongst other things like Samurai Champloo and what was the other one? Space Dandy. And he's been an animation director for a long time, even going back to like Macross and Macross Plus anyway. And you know, he's always created these, like, his original concepts have always been very interesting. He always has like a great combination of different genres of film and animation, and he kind of repackages them into these really fun concepts. Like, if you watch Cowboy Bebop, it's sci-fi mixed with spaghetti western, mixed with martial arts films, mixed with like John Woo action films. Same thing with Samurai Champloo. It's like, you know, a classic samurai movie mixed with hip hop and everything else. So he has some very original and interesting ideas, and I've always appreciated him as a creator, as someone who can create something that has, you know, that's just fun to watch, cool story, very interesting characters. And I also appreciate just the fact that his original ideas do have somewhat of an arc, at least in Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo anyway. Just a very interesting story arc for the main characters, and it tells a complete story. But he did not like the Netflix version of his creation. he had an interview with Forbes magazine where they brought it up, and he was just saying that he tried to watch it. He didn't even get past the first episode. Like, he only watched the first few minutes of the first episode, and then he said he turned it off, and he just never went back to it. He even said that if he feels like if he's not involved in this type of project, then it can't be Cowboy Bebop. And I agree with him on that. If the original creator is not involved in a lot of different things, then I don't know how you can really call them those projects, unless you have a group of people who actually love the content and have respect for the source material. Like, if you're working with people like that, then yeah, you can still say it's part of the same content. But if you got people that are just doing it for a money grab and just taking your concept and doing whatever they want with it, then it really can't be called the same thing. So I'll just say to Mr. Watanabe, I feel bad for you in that regard. Like, I don't think he's hurt by it, because because he noticed when they were originally talking about doing a live action version of Cowboy Bebop, and he gave them notes and suggestions and they didn't listen to it. He was just like, okay, this is obviously, they don't want my input. They're not really concerned about what I feel. They're just going to try to do their own thing. So it is what it is. And as far as the themes that I try to tell you folks here on this channel, if you're a creator, be careful with who you license your work to. Like, if you don't want something like this to happen to your work, have tighter control on it. Like, I don't know how much Watanabe actually has control of Cowboy Bebop, because it's weird how those rights work in Japan, especially when it comes from Japanese content to content here in the United States. It's weird how some of those contracts work. So I'm not exactly sure how much control he actually had to give the yay or nay on certain things. So it's obviously he had no control, because they just did whatever they wanted to. And you as a creator have to be careful when you create an intellectual property or some sort of content, that someone's not just taking it from you and twisting it to the point where it's unrecognizable to you. Because you don't want to end up in this situation where you try to watch the first episode and you can't even make it past the first 10 or 15 minutes. That's tough. If you created something and someone's doing a live action version of it, and then you go see it and you gotta put your head in your hands and say, I can't watch this anymore, that's hard. that's rough. I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine that. And I hope whatever happens with my career, even if something that I create goes mainstream, I hope it's not like that. I hope I don't have to live to see something that I created be destroyed. I guess poor George Lucas has gone through that a couple of times with what some of the things and decisions that Disney's made with Star Wars. But and I'm sure there's other creators out there who had to go through the same thing. People who created stuff for Marvel, or people who created characters for DC who are still alive, or just, I guess, any creator out there who's created something or made a character or a certain intellectual property, and then they see how someone else interprets it, and people just kind of put their own ideas and their own pathos and their own politics into these things, and you're wondering, like, what the heck am I watching? It stops becoming your idea and your intellectual property and someone else's. It's basically like if someone just bought your house while you're still living there and they start redecorating. You're like, what the heck is this? This is not my house anymore. So be careful with your intellectual property. Make sure you control your rights. Make sure you control your characters, and don't let anyone else take that stuff from you and redress it or redesign it to the point where it's unrecognizable even to you. Anyway, you guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. And this is Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.